Welcome to the Books, Life, and Shenanigans podcast with your host, Amanda Bird. Hey there, welcome to this week's episode of the Books, Life, and Shenanigans podcast. For those of you on YouTube, as you can tell, today is yet another lazy day because, to be completely honest with you, it's been a shite day, an absolute shite fucking day. Yeah, I'm actually super fucking frustrated, not happy about a lot of things. But hey, I'm going to focus on the things that I can control. One of those things I can control is the fact that my cat is about to step on my fucking keyboard. So we're about to move her. And also I can control how often I bang into the microphone. So I'm going to stop doing that now too, I think, or at least I'm going to try. The way I've got it set up, I don't really have much of an option but to not be super close to it. So I'm trying to shift myself and the cat at the same time so that you can still hear me. Apologies. I'm sure this would be so much funnier if it was on video. But yeah, no, she just kind of fell onto my lap and that was my fault for pulling her the way that I did. But she doesn't seem to mind. She's quite comfortable now. So yeah, no, it's just been an absolute fucking trash day. Started out not so bad. By the end of the day, let's just say I want to burn it all down. Speaking of burning things, my divorce finalizes really, really soon. So I will absolutely be having some kind of burn party because there is at least one picture that I purposely kept. I was going to throw it out and I was like, you know what? I threw everything else out. So let me hold on to this one specifically to set it on fucking fire once the divorce finalizes. So I'm really excited for that. You can't really hear it in my voice, but you know, shit happens. So this week's episode is going to be, I was going to do a different topic. And then a colleague had posted something about reviews, right? And the rumors that you hear about reviews, you know, you need so many reviews for the... We'll get into that. So this week's episode is rumors about reviews, grief, and this week's shenanigans. Fuck. What did I have it called? Give me a second here. This week's shenanigans, dirty things. If you have seen my YouTube shorts, if you follow me on TikTok, if you follow me on Instagram, you have already seen the dirty things shenanigans. But we're going to get into that and the story behind the dirty things shenanigans at the end of this week's episode. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's where we're at. Rumors on reviews, grief, and the dirty things shenanigans. I can't wait to get into the dirty things shenanigans. I might actually spend a little bit more time talking about that than the other two subjects each. We'll see. So on to the books portion. Reviews. Rumors about reviews. I was going to say reviews, do they really matter? But that's entirely incorrect. Reviews do matter. I have yet to see a survey that actually polls readers, and the number one reason that people buy books is reviews, right? That's not even close to the number one reason. That's actually like the fourth or fifth reason. So the first reason is description. Second one is book. Written Word Media, who does Free Booksy, Bargain Booksy, they did... let me see if I can find their blog post, because they had done their most recent reader survey. And might be easier to do it this way. Written Word Media reader survey. It's called How Readers Pick What to Read Next. And I'll link it in the podcast description here. Everywhere, obviously. because I can do that kind of fun thing because Spotify allows links. So that works out. Yes, I'm literally doing this right now. Because if I don't, there's a really good chance I'm gonna forget, right? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's pull that link there. Okay, there we go. So what we're looking at here is reader behavior, right? So the most important factors when deciding whether to read a book is by far number 1, the description. Number 2, the author. Number 3, the book cover. Number 4, review score. Number 5, and final option, number of reviews, right? So, no, number of reviews has not really anything to do with people buying your book, whether it's a free book or a paid book. It doesn't really have anything to do with that. It also, contrary to popular belief fueled by rumors, is it does not have anything to do with the almighty Amazon pimping you out to readers. Nothing at all. It's got nothing to do with reviews. Amazon pimping you out to readers is actually based on not sales velocity over time, right? So a spike isn't going to cause them to start pimping you out. It has to be a steady amount of purchases over, I don't even know what the time frame is, a week, 2 weeks. I couldn't even tell you. I don't even know if Amazon would actually give us that answer. What I can say is I've had spikes of 2,000 and 3,000 downloads in a day, and then it just kind of falls off and the tail is not very long. What I mean by that is how it spikes and then it decreases over time. That decrease over time is known as a tail. When it comes to something like that, where, I'm doing a promo because my book is free first in series, I'm doing a promo and I'm running, stacks where I've got, a promo going every day, the first 3 days of the week, or every day, the last 3 days of the week, and then the first 2 of the following week, right? That tail isn't really going to be all that long. And also I don't run promos like that, on purpose, because I do it for data. I do a lot of it for data these days. I'll do like 1 a week or 1 every other week, or even 1 a month, just because I want to see where I'm getting my money's worth. And I know I discussed different promos and direct, at least when it came to direct sales, a few episodes back. I will get into promos and promo stacks again in a future episode. So I'm actually taking notes on that, because as I speak, I'm giving myself ideas. Yes, that's right. My handy dandy notebook, if you've seen that video and that YouTube short and that TikTok video, and I think I put it up on Instagram too. My handy dandy notebook is right here next to me. So basically, review numbers don't matter when it comes to the almighty Amazon promoting you, right? And honestly, Amazon's really the only one who does that. Kobo is less likely to pick you up with a velocity. Like, it's not going to be an email blast, as far as I know, with the other retailers. Kobo, Google, Barnes and Noble. I have yet to see. Like, none of these go out in emails. They are on-site, in-reader, whatever promotions that you're doing, that you're getting picked up for, that they're pimping you out for. You're going to pay for those too, which is another way to do promo stacks. As I note that there. Because there are different ways to do promos, right? There's retailer promos and then there's newsletter promos. They're both effective. The difference is the retailer promos are generally, they're only going to be effective on that retailer. So it's the same thing with your direct shop. But back to, there's this rumor, something about 50 reviews on Amazon is going to make you more noticeable and it's going to make Amazon start pimping you out. Wrong answer. Not true. Don't believe it ever has been, to be completely honest. Don't know where it came from. I think somebody saw that happen with their velocity over time and they got a rapid 50 reviews at the same time, and Amazon probably started pimping them out, right? It is absolutely velocity over time for Amazon to start pimping you out. I personally, for whatever reason, do not receive emails from Amazon in regards to ebooks or paperbacks or hardcovers, whatever it may be. I do get new release alerts. I get pre-order alerts from the authors that I follow on Amazon. So if there is an author you really want to keep up with, I highly suggest follow them on Amazon, or even better, go to bookbub.com and follow them there, because they can interact with you a little bit better on BookBub, right? They can give their book recommendations on BookBub. We can do that on Amazon, but BookBub is a lot more user-friendly. I personally prefer BookBub because Amazon was late to the game. They copied BookBub on this. So that's kind of where I am at for that. Also, just fucking Amazon. Again, unique qualifications to seriously dislike Amazon. So, yeah. People can tell you until they're blue in the face. You can read it a bazillion times online in so many different forums. 50 reviews is the magic number for Amazon to start pimping you out. No, it is not. Absolutely not. So not true. It's absolutely painful how many people actually believe this. And I feel bad because, most of these people are new to the industry. They're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to start. And I keep seeing that I need 50 reviews. No, honey, you don't need 50 reviews, because I promise you, it's not going to do anything for you. I mean, there are promo sites that you need a specific amount of reviews for to be able to promo. And if I'm not mistaken, Free Booksy and Bargain Booksy might actually be one of them, which is kind of fucking ridiculous, because how's a newbie supposed to newsletter promote? Use a paid newsletter promo if you have a certain number of reviews required. Actually, it might not be. Apologies. It's not Free Booksy and Bargain Booksy. It's not Written Word Media at all. It is someone else, and I'm not entirely sure who it is. So now I'm actually trying to find the colleagues, excuse you, ma'am, the colleagues' words on reviews, but homie posts so freaking much. It's going to drive me crazy trying to scroll through this and find what I'm looking for. I mean, he said it a lot more with a lot more words than I did about, the magic number for reviews. And he was definitely a lot nicer too, with how he said, it's just not true. Okay, I'm done scrolling trying to find this. But, the point is that it doesn't matter. Amazon is not going to pimp you for having a certain number of reviews. If that was the case, we'd all be being pimped like all the time, or at least most of the majority of us would be being pimped all the time. Amazon is not out for free promotion. Amazon is out to make money, which means unless you have velocity over time on a paid book, they are not going to pimp you out. That's right. I said paid book because I've had velocity over time with my free book, my free first in series. I started that this year and I've had that velocity over time. A free book gets you no attention. You have to pay to promote a free book. That's why they call it a loss leader. Fucking sucks, let me tell you. Have I promoted my book since the beginning of the year? No, I haven't. Am I still getting downloads? Yes. Am I still getting downloads at the velocity I would like? No. Am I seeing sell-through on that? Again, no. And here's why. I mean, I am, but it's trickling in here and there. And I'm going to tell you why that is. Free first in series is a gamble. A lot of people, myself included, and I say this in all of the reader communities that I'm in when people start talking about it, a lot of people, myself included, will download free books and they will just sit there on our Kindle. Now, I've got a physical TBR, I've got a Kindle TBR, I've got my Audible TBR, right? So I don't know how many hundreds of books I actually have between all three of those TBRs. And I really don't want to spend time counting. I don't even want to look at totals because that shit's bonkers, and just no. So knowing it's going to take me a while because I don't consume ebooks the way some people do. Now, there are some readers who are going to tear through the 15 free ebooks they just downloaded yesterday. They're going to tear through all of them in like a week, right? Because these people have the time to do that. Or maybe they're just super fast readers, or they've mastered the art of skimming, right? Everybody's different. What I will say is the majority of those who download free ebooks are going to take some time to read them, right? Sporadically, my read through starts to kick in, which is another reason I started the box sets too, right? Because there are people who are like, oh, I don't want to wait for, I don't want to buy each individual book. I want all of them at once. All right, cool. So you have the 2 box sets, $20. There you go. So yeah, there is that. There is also a super weird thing that I have noticed when it comes to free first in series. We offer ebooks for free, whether it's free first in series or a free middle of the series to celebrate the release of something 2 or 3 books down the line, something the next book down the line, whatever the case may be. But people get kind of weird. Well, how come you don't offer it free in paperback? Because let me tell you how much a paperback book costs me. That's right. It costs me. Now, when it costs me, what I'm saying about that is this. You pay your distribution fees, you pay the print fees, blah, 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 right? So the book retails for, say, $15. The print fee is, say, $4. That takes you down to $11. You're not making the 70 or 80 or whatever percentages that the distributor is telling you you're making. You're not making it on that $15. You're making it on that $11. Now, that $11, say there's a distribution fee of like $1 per book. Now you're making it on that $10 and not $11. The math is kind of convoluted, kind of confusing. All of the distributors have it broken down when you upload your books and you're trying to figure out your discounts. Now, I will say this, do not go expanded distribution with Amazon. Nobody's going to buy your book from Amazon. I promise you. Not a bookstore, not a library. Your best bet is to go through Overdrive and or Ingram Spark if you want libraries and bookstore placements. Again, potentially another topic. I don't think I can make that topic run for 15 minutes aside from random bitching, because I used to publish exclusively through Amazon. I didn't want to use Ingram Spark because they had a per book upload fee and yada, yada, yada. They have since done away with that. So I still use them as my US distributor. My UK distributor is Book Vault. The quality of their books is much better. Their US printing partner is Amazeballs. I do have some weird kinks that need to be worked out with some with some print copies. But I will say, I don't think that's a matter of the PDF. I think when they printed it, because they did screw up almost the entirety of the printing anyway, they overprinted book 5. They gave me like 10 more copies of book 5 than I ordered. And the offset was just wrong. But that's fine. I will review the PDF files. I will review the trim measurements, trying to convert. Dude, I used a conversion calculator for inches to millimeters or centimeters. I think it's centimeters. And it's still all out of whack. So I'm fairly certain it's got nothing to do with my PDF file. I am fairly certain it's got everything to do with how it was set up when it was printed. Not a big deal, not the end of my world. The books are still sellable. They're still legible. They're still readable. It's just a weird, annoying thing for me. I don't really know that readers are actually going to give a shit. So no amount of reviews is going to cause a retailer to pimp you out. It is sales velocity over time. Okay. Hopefully I can edit that sneeze out. That wasn't me. That was the cat. Okay, so now on to the life portion of this week's episode, grief. Grief is experienced in many different things, right? The death of a family member, a loved one, a friend, someone you held dear, the ending of a relationship, in my case, a divorce, the ending of a friendship, the ending of a really good work relationship, right? Grief is experienced in many different forms, and it is experienced very differently individually. But your grief is your grief. And I say that, and I mean your grief is your grief. It is your responsibility to overcome, as well as it is your grief. So if someone tries to tell you, no, you shouldn't be grieving this, tell them how far to fuck all the way off. Because no, that's not how this works. That kind of person does not belong in anyone's life. Ask me how I know. So yeah, grief is a real thing. And I thought it was really weird in the beginning. My work bestie, lost her father last year, shortly after we started working together, and her and I bonded over a lot of different things. Her and I just became really close work besties. We do talk outside of work. I really like asking her about her wedding next year because she gets so excited about it, and she'll go on for days, and it just makes me so happy to hear how excited she is, right? Makes me happy to hear her happy. There's a lot of different things, but grief can be experienced through a lot of things. And it was actually her who kind of sort of helped me see this, right? Like I started kind of grieving my marriage last year, because we were in much the same situation last year. I had kicked him out, once last summer. And what's funny is right about the time that our divorce will finalize was when he moved back in last year. So it's all coming kind of full circle now for me. And that grief will hit me some days really fucking hard, like a fucking piano falling on my head. And other days it's just non-existent. It's a roller coaster. Healing from anything, getting over anything. Like there's the 7 stages of grief, right? Like anger, denial, sadness. I don't remember exactly what it is. And now I actually need to look it up because it's really going to drive me crazy. So the stages of grief in order are, let's see, that one says 5 stages. Give me this one. So yeah, grief is 100% universal. The 5 stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. There's a 7-stage belief that also includes feelings of guilt. So I kind of prefer the 7 stages. Bargaining, depression, acceptance. 7 is shock. So with the 7 stages, it's shock and denial, pain and guilt, anger and bargaining, depression, the upward turn, reconstruction and working through, acceptance and hope. Okay, so maybe I do prefer the 5th, but the 7th is great because it actually really encompasses a lot more. So here's an example. I'm going to read this direct from Healthline. And as an example, this may be the presentation of stages from a breakup or divorce. Shock and denial. She absolutely won't do this to me. She'll realize she's wrong and be back here tomorrow. Pain and guilt. How could she do this to me? How selfish is she? How did I mess this up? Anger and bargaining. If she'll give me another chance, I'll be a better boyfriend. I'll dote on her and give her everything she asks. Depression. I'll never have another relationship. I'm doomed to fail everyone. The upward turn. The end was hard, but there could be a place in the future where I could see myself in another relationship. Reconstruction and working through. I need to evaluate that relationship and learn from my mistakes. Acceptance and hope. I have a lot to offer another person. I just have to meet them. Now, here's the thing. While yes, this is kind of a ladder, right? You start at the bottom, which is the shock and denial, or in the 5 stages, it's denial itself. You start at the bottom of that ladder, and then you kind of work your way up, right? Like that's how you think that, right? That's not how that works. Because here's how this actually works. when you are experiencing grief, if you never have, or even if you have and it's something you're having a really difficult time with, I need to tell you that you can go from shock and guilt up through the pain, or shock and denial up through pain and guilt, anger and bargaining, depression, upward turn. You can hit that upward turn and fall right back down again. You can go right back into that shock and denial, especially if you are a victim of narcissism or a narcissism survivor. Again, I hate that word victim. I was a victim when I was still in that situation until I had the courage enough to be, that's it. This is done. We are fucking done. I'm going no contact. And even then, I was still going through shock and denial, pain and guilt. And I was the one who made this decision, right? I was the one who went no contact and blocked him everywhere I possibly could. Everywhere. He can't call me. He can't text me. He can't WhatsApp me. Now, my social media profiles are public. He's not on social media, so that's fine. If he really wanted to be a fucking crazy person and reach out to me on social media, that's fine too, because at least then, hey, man, now I have proof that you're harassing me, and I'm going to go to court to get that restraining order, because fuck you. But he won't go that far. He really won't. And I am more than good with that. But what I'm saying here is you can go up these rungs and you can fall back down. I have experienced this myself, especially, with being a survivor of narcissism, right? The guilt and the self-blame is probably the worst part of all of it. Toxic relationship, traumatic relationship. What could I have done differently? What did I do to deserve this? What did I do to bring this on? You didn't do anything to deserve this aside from being an empathetic person. You didn't bring this on. You could not have done anything different because, honey, you cannot fix them. They cannot fix them. No one can fix them until they understand and accept and seek out that help themselves. They fix them. No one else. Them. And it's a really, really hard concept to grasp. It's a really hard concept to start to let go of once you have grasped it and accepted it. You can go through the grief of a breakup, of a family member, of whatever. You can go through that grief for a really long time. It doesn't just go away one day until you have done the healing work. You need to fix you. Let me say it again, a little louder for those in the back. You need to fix you. When I say fix, I mean heal. No one can heal you for you. Only you can do that. Doing the work is fucking terrifying. But I promise you, you will feel better. Doing that work is hard. It is the scariest fucking thing I've ever done in my entire life. And we're not going to talk about how old I am. Yeah, roller coasters are scary. Yeah, social situations full of large gathering people. Going to a concert by yourself the first time is fucking terrifying. Hell, night terrors, sleep paralysis. That's fucking terrifying. Do you know what's more terrifying? Doing the work to heal, doing the work to fix yourself and come back a better you, right? Nobody wants to go into those deep, dark shadows and pull out the things lurking there. I promise you, no one does. Psychopaths don't even want to do it. Sociopaths, they're probably the only ones happy to do it. But none of us want to go into those deep, dark shadows, those scary realms with the spiders and the monsters and, something glowing over there in the corner. What the fuck is that? Oh God, it's got 100 legs and it's not an insect. It's just some weird, creepy fucking monster. Nobody wants to go crawling through those dark recesses and pull out what needs to be pulled out, right? We all would rather compartmentalize. push it away, deny that it's there, not feel it, whatever we have to do so that we're not feeling it, so that we don't have to do that work. That's going to make you so much worse. You're going to feel like shit forever. You're never going to truly be happy. You need to do the work. If that means finding a grief support group, if that means a therapist, if that means finding an online healing program like I did with Dr. Ramani, if that means just watching someone's videos and, you know, a respected doctor or someone in one of those fields, right? Dr. Ramani is the foremost voice in narcissistic abuse because she's the only one who has cared enough to actually delve into it. It's not even being taught to therapists and psychiatrists and such. It's not even, they're not learning these things in school. They have to learn these things kind of on their own, other ways, because it's not necessarily part of the curriculum, how to handle these things, because we're still trying to get an understanding on these things. And as far as I'm concerned, the only person who actually has the understanding on something like narcissism is Dr. Ramani. She's amazing. She has done the research. She has worked with so many survivors. You know, she's got the program, and she's amazing. If you don't want to spend the money and because you're not sure it's going to work for you, look her up on YouTube, look her up on Spotify. There's plenty of other experts out there, but I consider her the foremost expert because she's the one that's really doing what she can. She's the one who's really being vocal about it. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at there. So, you know, Dr. Ramani is 1,000 times amazing for what she does. She's very raw in her healing program, and I really appreciate that because it lets me know, okay, not only is she like the foremost voice on the subject, she's a human. She's been through this. She still struggles with it. So understand that, you know, even though you may be healed, it's something that you're still going to have your triggers. There's still going to be something because we can't feel it all at once, right? We can't put a timeline on it like we talked about last week. We can't put a timeline on it where it's like, okay, in a year, I'm going to be 100% better. In a year, nothing's going to bother me. I'm not going to have any more triggers. You're fucking lying to yourself. Stop it. The cat agrees. You know, if that doesn't get filtered out. So, you know, you can't put those kind of limitations on yourself because you're just lying to yourself at that point. You really need to do the work and understand that these triggers are going to pop up. Hell, I got a rotisserie chicken the other week and I had a fucking meltdown. That was a trigger for me. Yes, a rotisserie chicken, something so innocuous, right? Yummy, delicious food. And that was a trigger for me because as I was deconstructing that rotisserie chicken, I got to the wishbone. And it hit me upside the head that this is the first time in 13 or 14 years that I have not had a significant other, someone in my immediate vicinity all the time, to split that wishbone with. And that fucking hurt. That made me see how physically alone I am right now. And then I started to perk up because right now I am actually trying to kind of not actually isolate myself, because I'm not trying to isolate myself from my friends. Now I do on bad days, but I don't necessarily do it intentionally. I just don't want to talk to anybody, right? We all go through that. For me, it's only like a day-to-day thing that I get like that. It's been a while since it's been a few days at a time, you know, back to back, where I'm like, no, I just don't want to fucking talk to anybody. Am I burnt out from my job? Yeah. Do I want to talk to anybody after work? Fuck no. But I do, because I love my friends. I love my family. I want to interact with them. I kind of sort of brushed off a friend a little while ago because I was waiting to have a meeting with my director. I don't know how productive it actually was, but I'm also still kind of angry and frustrated and just dejected. So, another day when I might be feeling a little bit better about my day-to-day life, I might think that meeting was a little bit more productive than I currently do. But you're going to have those triggers, right? Like I had the one with the rotisserie chicken. About a month ago or a couple weeks ago, I had gone into Michael's craft store because I wanted to see what they had, decoration wise, because I love their decorations and their clearance prices are usually pretty fucking good, right? So I don't really ever pay full price for home decor, especially when it comes to certain holidays, because it's always spooky season here in this house. Okay. But yeah, I went in there and I had gone into the scrapbook aisle, and that was my trigger, the scrapbook aisle, because I had seen the stickers of, different places, Mexico, Canada, Italy, France, UK, wherever. And I heard like he was standing right there with me. I heard our conversation like it was still happening 2 years ago, a year ago. Yeah, we're going to travel and we're going to make a fun scrapbook of it. And we're going to take lots of pictures and, we'll get these stickers and those stickers and all of the plans that we made. And he was not future faking. Narcissists are really good at future faking. He was not future faking. And here's how I know this, because there was a very drunken night back in February, where he looked at me point blank, and he's the type of person where when he's drunk, the truth abso-fucking-lutely comes out. Oh my God, does it? Whether it's something I want to hear, something I don't want to hear, something I never expected to hear him say, let alone hear him admit to me out loud. So I did actually get to experience his heart and his genuine vulnerability, which is something a lot of people in narcissistic relationships don't get to experience. So for that, I'm kind of grateful, but also for that, it makes it more difficult to let go. But he had said something to me about, I never wanted to get divorced. And I looked at him and I said, from your first wife, from your second wife, or from me? And he looked at me and he goes, never wanted to get divorced from any of them. He goes, but, I'm talking about us right now. I said, oh, well, I don't want to get divorced either. A month later, I had to go no contact because he called me to pick a fight so that I could be the fucking villain that he always thought I was. Cool. Let me bust out the Maleficent ears, bro, because fuck you. I knew that I was going to have to be the villain of this story. And you know what? I made a damn fine villain. Tell me I got a victim complex because I call you out on your bullshit. And then you're actually the one playing the victim, which is the vulnerable narcissist there. Now, he's grandiose and vulnerable. Please stop fucking using the terminology covert narcissist. Fucking stop. It's a vulnerable narcissist. Covert and behaviors do not coincide. Behaviors are overt because they're happening. You're experiencing them. They're treating you the way they're treating you. They're speaking to you the way they're speaking to you. There's nothing covert about that. Covert is their thoughts and their feelings about themselves. Get it right. Please, please fucking get it right. I grew up and was raised by a malignant narcissist. Holy fuck, was I raised by a malignant narcissist. So I highly recommend, learning from experts like Dr. Romani when it comes to narcissism. Now, final thoughts on grief. Yes, you're going to continue to have triggers. Yes. 5 years from, 5 years from the point that you think you're fully healed, you can still have a trigger. And you know what? That is completely okay. Do not let that trigger completely derail you. Be sad, feel what you need to feel, acknowledge your feelings, and let them go. Do not let them stay because you are stronger than this. You are better than this. You are better than the person who treated you like shit. You are better than your sadness. Remember, honor, cherish that lost person in your life. Don't let that grief beat you down. Don't do it. You're stronger than this. You're better than this. You deserve happiness too. Okay, I'm done. That was trying to be motivational, but at the same time, I started to choke myself up there, so I had to stop. So, this week's shenanigans. I was on the phone with a friend of mine, catching up a little bit. We were talking, her books, my books, my job, a bunch of things. And I absolutely adore this friend so fucking much. Now, she writes smutty books, and she's also a hilarious person. She's a good person. She's been through the same things, if not worse, than I have been through. And even she'd been telling me for a year, I need to keep him completely kicked to the curb. But, she still supported me. She was still there for me. But we were talking, and as we were getting ready to hang up the phone, so that she could go make dinner and I could go make dinner because we were both so hungry, we were about to eat our own arms. I said, yeah, I got to go do dishes just to make them dirty again. And she goes, you should make a TikTok video of that where it's just like nothing. And then you're like, yeah, I got to clean it just to make it dirty again. And then you cut to the dishes. So I did. Fucking did. And then I shared it to a bunch of friends. I put it up on Instagram, which cross-posted to Facebook. And then over the weekend, I was vacuuming and I did some crazy shit like that again. This time it was something about, I just love sucking hair, right? Because there's always that joke about pubic hair and how it gets stuck between your teeth. And if I wanted to eat hair, yada, yada, yada. So that's where that whole thing came from. My friends who are younger than me by a few years, by a lot of years, immediately understood what that was. The downfall to all of this was when I posted it on TikTok, the first video, got to clean it to make it dirty again, and I cut to the dishes. I now have like 20 new male followers, and I'm like, oh, fucking awesome, right? You creepos. Like, I'm not. So I have learned some things, and I changed that with my vacuuming video. And I think I called it something like things authors get up to when they're bored, or what authors get up to when they're bored. I would like to continue the series of dirty, but I'm just trying to figure out some fun things that I can make them kind of like sexual innuendos. And I'm struggling to figure out how to make dust. Because you can't suck dust up with anything, right? Not even a quote unquote dust buster, because it really doesn't suck up a whole lot of dust, right? It sucks up the dust that's resting on the surface, but you still have to wipe that shit off with something damp or wet, whether that's Windex or a Clorox wipe or something, right? I prefer the Clorox wipes just because they're so much more convenient, and it doesn't have to be Clorox, it can be fucking dollar store, but that's not my point. My point is, I'm trying to figure out more ways to make cleaning my apartment dirty and fun and amusing, because let's face it, authors are some of the most fun people I have ever encountered. Writers, creatives of any kind. They're either fun or super depressed. That is my personal opinion of just creators at large. They're either super fun or super depressed, and there really isn't much of an in between, but that's me. Like, it's kind of a black and white thing. There's like a very tiny amount of gray in there, but what that gray actually consists of is just kind of weird. Like, we're all out there. We're all like crazy. And when I say crazy, I don't mean that like we all belong in fucking padded rooms, though some of us probably do, myself included. But we have these things. And it's funny because I had said to another friend of mine who also writes smut, I said, if it had been you that I was on the phone with, because the three of us are all friends, like we all spend time together, things like that. But I was like, if it had been you that I had been on the phone with, you would have said the same damn thing and I still would have done it. So basically this video still would have happened. So yes, I do have friends who write smut. I have friends who write fantasy. I have friends who write romance. One of my smut writing friends also has just started, and her and I are working out things for getting a book together where my character, Brittany Cage, the serial killer, works kind of with her detective who has been demoted to beat cop. I'm going to leave it at that because I know there's not a whole lot I can divulge right now because we're still working on ideas and things like that. Plus, don't really want to spoil it, right? So that's going to be a decision that her and I come to together of how much of that I can actually speak about. So yeah, that about wraps us up. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to hit like and or follow. Greatly appreciated. The more follows I have, the more things I can actually do with YouTube and Substack because it's an RSS feed to Spotify. There's not much I can do there aside from have, the social validation that, I've got this many followers, and I don't know how Spotify works with that, if they might actually start putting me in other people's, hey, we think you'll like this kind of thing, because we know Spotify sends those pop-ups every fucking hour. So yeah, remember to hit that subscribe button, mash the shit out of it. You can turn the notifications off too. Just please remember to hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you. I love you. Have a great week. Thanks for being here. Talk to you soon.
This has been the Books, Life, and Shenanigans podcast with Amanda Bird. Song credit, audionautics.com. Intro action, AUDIONAUTIX.com. And if you'd like to support this podcast, head over to substack.com/@Books, Life, and Shenanigans.